Are you still on mute?
How do I turn my screen?
Hey guys, can y'all hear me? Hello.
Hello.
Hey, this is Miss McLaughlin. How you doing?
Good.
Who's this?
You can also mute yourself at the bottom left.
Hey, Ashlyn. Hi, Maria. Hey, Charlie. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me talking? How's everybody doing? Hey, Henry. Are y'all talking? Because I can't hear you. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Good. Hey, Ashlyn, can you talk? Can I hear you? I keep unmuting you and I can't hear you. There you go. Okay, good. How about Maria? Oh, did y'all mute yourselves? Is that what you're doing?
No.
Oh, okay, because it keeps going like a slash through the microphone and then back. I don't know. It's weird. Thanks for coming on, guys. How are y'all been? You okay?
Yes.
Okay. Chat. All right, here's the chat in case somebody wants to just type. Okay, well, it's 10:30, so I'm going to get started and hopefully more people will come in. Hey, Jeremy. Nice to have you.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
I can. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, Anaya, how are you?
I don't think the Chromebooks have microphones on them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I have my headset plugged or my headphones plugged in, and they got.
Oh, okay. Well, I tell you what I'll do. I'll put the chat up.
But Henry's muted. He has a mic.
Oh, that's weird. All right, I'll put the chat up and that way everybody can just talk
All right.
on there if they want to. All right, there, you can talk to anybody. Okay. I don't know why that says to Ashlyn. Should be to everybody. Everyone. There, everyone. Okay. All right, so can y'all see the chat in the corner?
Yeah, there's a chat button at the bottom.
Okay, good. All right, so if y'all want to talk to me during it, you can.
That was on. I thought that was you.
I did it. I started.
Okay, so here we go. We are going to be talking about populations and ecosystems, and hopefully everybody watched the video on Jane Goodall about her work with the chimpanzees. If you haven't, after we talk about it, please watch it. It is so good. Okay, I'm just going to run through some of the vocabulary. If you've been doing the work, then you know these vocabulary words. So a species is a kind of organism. It is biotic. Bio is the prefix for life. So biotic means living, and a species would be one kind of organism like this prairie dog here. Okay, and remember that the definition of a species is any organism that can mate with its own kind and that its offspring can mate. Okay, a population are all the individuals of that same species in one area at the same time. And again, it's biotic, they're living, so that would be like a group of prairie dogs. Okay, a community are all the different populations in a specific area. Okay, and so that would be like the prairie dogs and the ferrets and the owls and the worms and the bacteria all living together in one place at one time. That too is biotic, it's living. Then if we look at ecosystem, it's all the living and non-living factors in that specific area, and they're interacting with each other. So it's biotic, living, and abiotic, non-living. Is everybody good with all those?
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay. Now I want you to think about this. Are you a member of a community?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Are you a member of more than one community? Maybe, right? Okay, so your community holds populations of plants, animals, organisms that live and interact in your area. So when I say the word community, you might think of meeting different people, going to school, planning things, living together, going to church, all that kind of thing. But in science, an ecologist doesn't think of the place itself, but the populations that live there. So when we say community in science, we're saying all the different populations. So think of the area you live in and all the populations within your community. So if you look at this picture here, what do you think some of the populations might be?
Families.
Families, good.
Dogs. Animals.
Yeah, the different types of animals. So it'd be all the squirrels would be one population, the worms would be another population, the blue jays, those trees in the background would be a population, that certain kind of flower would be a population. And then all of those populations are living together in a community. Okay, does that make some sense?
Yes.
Good, thank you, sweetheart. Okay, so are you in different communities when you're at home and when you're at school? So if you look at the pictures, there's the home community, and then we go to Jones Middle School, and that's another community. So our communities can be defined in several different ways depending on what you're studying and what you're talking about. Okay? All right. So, do you think that there's anywhere you can be and not be in a community? So think about it. A community has a bunch of different living populations. Is there any place you can really be where there aren't lots of things? Not really, right? Because everywhere you go, something's living, even if it's the bacteria, right? Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. All right. So scientists conduct population studies in several different ways. So we studied the Madagascar cockroaches at school, right? Now, what we did was we brought a population of Madagascar cockroaches into our classroom. So that took them out of their ecosystem where they live naturally, right? And we put them in our classroom. The second way is what we did. We created a miniature version of that ecosystem. So we took a box and we put a bunch of stuff in it to try and mimic where they live and then put them in there, okay? A third way is to study them in their natural surroundings. And if you watch Jane Goodall's special, that one I put in there, she went and observed chimpanzees in their natural habitat. So several different ways to study the population. Which way you think is the best way? In their natural habitat or in the classroom?
In your natural habitat.
Yeah, I would think so too, in their natural habitat, because then we get to see what they really act like. When
Yeah.
we put them in a box, they're not going to act the same way as they would out in their natural environment, would they? No. Okay. So how's the Madagascar cockroach habitat study similar to and different from Jane Goodall's population? Okay. So we talked a little bit about it, but anybody have anything they want to add to that? Hey, Jeremy. You were getting ready to talk, Jeremy. What were you going to say?
I don't know. Wait, what was the question again?
How is the habitat with the cockroaches in our classroom different from what Jane Goodall did in her population study?
Well, you're studying two different things, and one of them wasn't in a natural habitat. One of them was like controlled habitat, and the other one was natural.
Excellent. Hey, Mia, it looked like you were going to say something. You going to say something, Mia? No.
No.
No? Okay.
No.
I saw your name up there. I thought you were going to say something. Hey, Eduardo, you have something to say?
Yeah, Eduardo.
Hey, Dante.
So the Madagascar cockroach habitat is different because we didn't go we didn't go to their main habitat. We just put them in a box, and Jane Goodall went to the monkeys' habitat and studied them.
Right, right. Excellent. Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to add? Hey, Sanaya and Alondra, how are y'all?
Alondra's not using her mic because her house is loud.
Oh, okay. Thank you for letting me know that. That's good. Okay. All right. A lot of you watched the Jane Goodall study in the chimpanzees living and interacting in their natural environment. It was so good, wasn't it? It was so emotional for me, especially like when the baby died and she carried that baby, the mom carried the baby around for 3 days. Oh, it was just heart-wrenching. Okay, so after she thought about it after many years, Jane Goodall wished that she had minimized her contact with the chimps. So remember how she would actually, does anybody remember how long it took her before the chimps would actually even talk to her? It was about 18 months before they even stopped running away from her. Okay. But once they accepted her and started coming into the camp, do you think that she was actually seeing their natural behavior?
No.
No, she wasn't, was she? Because she changed their behavior in their natural habitat by putting up a tent. And then she realized she really messed up when she put out bananas. Can anyone tell me what happened when she put out the bananas?
Fighting over them.
Eating them and kept wanting more.
Yeah, yeah. So what other species showed up when she put the bananas out other than the chimpanzees? Do y'all remember? Remember the baboons showed up? And then they all started fighting over them. So then she saw aggression that she hadn't seen in the natural environment with them. So she changed their behaviors. And that doesn't really make a great study when you change their behavior, because what you really want is the behavior that they naturally do. Okay, so what we call it is an observational study. That's what Jane Goodall did, because she was observing them. So you would see her with her notebook and her binoculars, and she was studying them. That's different than a controlled experiment. So how? Look at the picture. What's different? Everybody tell me what's different?
The temperature.
Yeah, good, darling. The temperature. So the temperature is what's changing. You can see in the top box, it's cool, 70 degrees. And then you can see the bottom one is warm at 80. So remember, whatever's changing is our independent variable. Okay, that's what's changing. All right. So did Jane become part of a community where those chimpanzees lived?
Yes.
Yeah, she sure did. Yeah. So because she started actually interacting with them, and remember, they even got to a point where they would let her groom them. And that's a very intimate thing between chimpanzees. But look how fascinated in the picture they are with her stuff as well. Aren't they cool going through all her stuff? That must have been really fun. But again, does that make a good observational study?
No.
No, it doesn't. No. She should have distanced herself. Now, in one part of the show, they showed where she made, like, she took a bunch of leaves and twigs and stuff and made like a blind and put her and her photographer behind it. So she was hiding. That's really what she should have done the whole time, to really get accurate data. But she didn't, and she realized later in her years that that's probably what she should have done. But we got a lot of really good data out of there because there's a lot of things she learned that the scientific community didn't know about chimpanzees at the time. For example, the tools. Remember how they would take the twigs and put it down into the termite holes and pull out the termites, whereas the baboons weren't smart enough to do that. If the termites weren't on the surface, they had nothing to eat. Okay, so we've been talking about her presence affected the population, and you can see here how they're fighting over the bananas. And the little ones, remember in the movie, the little ones would get behind the big ones, and then they'd also like, it was almost like high-fiving each other when they helped each other chase another one away, and they got the bananas. So she affected their behavior a lot just by doing things like putting bananas out. And remember what she did? She put, so because she realized they were fighting, so she put them in a box, and she would only let them have them when a few would show up. And then it was like every 10 days. So does anybody remember what they tried to do to the box?
Open it.
Yeah, they tried to open it, didn't they? They're like, we don't want to wait. And so they tried to open it and figure out how. So why would this be significant in an observational study? So look at this baby. He went inside and got her blanket and took it. So is it an actual observation? Now remember, observation is when we use all our 5 senses, right? To see what's going on. And she kind of messed that up, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, but she still logged so many hours of just observation, where they would show her sitting on the hill and just watching them, and she wouldn't get involved. Or remember when the little girl lost her mom and she didn't help her, you know, so she tried as hard as she could to just be an observer and to get that information. It had to have been really hard with that one mother that started killing babies. That was really, wasn't that shocking?
It's messed up.
Yeah, it really was. But what I found really interesting was that the daughter who would help her didn't do it after the mother died. So kind of like shows how kids try and do what their parents want them proud of them, you know? And then she didn't do it later on. But yeah, that was messed up. You're right. Okay, why do you think Jane chose to do her study in Africa rather than at a zoo or at a park?
Because they're enclosed.
Right, they'd be enclosed. Do you think we'd see them like they'd really behave?
No.
No. I can tell you the last time, it's been many, 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 many years, we went to the Washington, D.C. Zoo. And
I went there.
Did you? Yeah, it's a really nice one, isn't it? Except I gotta tell you, when I went in the primate thing, they all look so depressed.
I
You
know.
Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And my son and I looked at each other and we said, we'll never do this again. You know, it just hurt our hearts seeing how depressed they were in those little cages.
They weren't active. They were just in a little cage.
Right. You're right. They weren't playing. They weren't interacting with each other. They were just kind of against the glass or just sitting in the back. Yeah, I agree, Dante. Yeah. It was just heart-wrenching. Just heart-wrenching. And they didn't interact with the people. You know, can you imagine how they think with all those people just staring at them? That's so sad, isn't it? All righty. Okay, how did she use the term community in the video, and what's the scientific or common usage? So she said, I started by studying one community. Later in 1972, the community divided into 2. Did she really mean community?
No.
No, what was she really looking at? What's
Like
a group? She was looking. And what do we call one group of species living in a place at the same time? Starts with a P.
Population.
Yeah, she was really studying a population, wasn't she? Okay, if she had been studying all the different animals in that area, then she would have been studying a community. But she was just looking at one, at the chimpanzees. And so that really she should have used the term population. And then when she said later in 1972, the community divided into two, well, if they divided, how far apart were they? Did they still live close to each other where it might still be one community, kind of like we live near our neighbors? Or did they move like a mile away and so now they'd be two separate communities, right? So do y'all get what I'm trying to say? Yes? Everybody say yes if they do.
Yes.
Yes, okay, thank you. Okay, so it depends on what you're studying, where they live, how far away they are from each other, whether they're a separate community. Okay, so how's the Madagascar habitat study similar to and different from Jane Goodall's? What are some pros and cons? So what are some pros of bringing the cockroaches into our classroom?
Pros where we got to see them mate and eat and stuff.
Yes, that was really cool when we could watch them mate. Yeah. Can we go to Madagascar?
Yeah, but we can't.
Yeah, it'd be hard, wouldn't it? Yeah. So we really don't have the resources to go to their natural habitat. So the next best thing is to bring them into the classroom. And don't you think we learned a lot more from actually holding them than just seeing them in a textbook? Good, good. Oh, I see down here. Good, Alondra. It's more natural. Good.
Hold on.
Excellent. Yeah, and good. Expensive. Very expensive. Good, Alondra. It would be very expensive to go to their natural habitat. Yeah, and think about Goodall. Somebody had to pay for her to go out there and all of her food and everything, right? Yeah.
Oh shoot! I forgot to.
What's going on?
I can't hear anybody. I can't even hear the teacher.
That's okay. You can just join the chat at the bottom if you want.
Miss McLaughlin?
Yes.
I can't hear you.
Uh-oh. Can anybody else hear me?
I can hear you.
You can?
I can hear you.
Okay. Something's wrong. Henry, you hearing me? Okay. If you can't, maybe your speaker went funny. Okay. So the next thing you're going to do is I'm going to put in there an assignment with the eco scenario introductions on page 16. And one of the sheets that you should have had that you were going to complete coming up are the types of biome notes. So if you read this and you read about all the different types of biomes and fill that sheet out, we're going to do a project on biomes. Okay, so keep looking in your Google Classroom. That's coming up soon, later today. I'm going to put that in there for you to work on, and you can have fun with it. Okay.
All right.
Okay, does anybody have any questions or any comments or anything about, because this is so different.
I emailed you yesterday because I need a false web login so I can get into the book.
I emailed it to you, sweetie.
When?
Did you get that email?
No, where is it?
Science Life. It's just Science Life. Okay. Science Life for both of them. Okay, for your username and your password are Science Life. So will you email me if that doesn't work for you?
Y'all hear me?
Okay. All right. The project, hey guys, let me tell you, remember I sent you that, I hear someone says, when is the project due? It's not going to be due for a while. Now listen, remember I sent you that email that said, Dr. Caggiano said, don't give out grades until we go back to school. Okay. So that's why I haven't been putting grades in there. But I have been keeping all your grades in a notebook as they come in, so they're not getting lost, okay? As you do it and I grade it, I'm giving you a comment on it, and then I'm putting it in I have a hard grade book that I'm putting everything in, okay? All right, is everybody okay?
Wait, Miss McLaughlin.
Yeah, darling.
I have a question.
Hi, Mia.
That's not me.
No.
Bro, I'm tired. Like,
Hey, guys, let Mia talk, please.
I was wondering, like, do you know if Dr. Wilson's gonna do a live thing like this?
I don't know. I do know that the principal has asked everybody to learn how to do it and to do it. So my assumption would be that, yes, she will do it.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Okay, anybody else have any
Go.
comments or anything? I know it's hard not getting grades as soon as you do
Oh.
something. Anybody up? Quentin, you okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Can I use the bathroom?
Yeah. Yes. Alondra, I heard that too. So we haven't heard how long it's gonna be, Anamani. But we haven't heard any specifics, but I would expect it's gonna be a little while. So I'll try and keep holding these, so at least you're getting teaching and you can ask questions if you want to, or and let me know if you need anything from me. Okay, so I'll hold these regularly so we can all get together. Okay, and if you know anybody that's in our classes and didn't show up, will you let them know that it's better than just doing it all by themselves, and ask them to come. I also am recording this, so I'll be putting this in if anybody missed it.
I don't care.
You're acting like everybody can hear me.
Amani, I agree, honey. School is so much better than being at home.
This online school
No,
is
it's
so
not.
fun.
Charlotte,
It's weird, and Did she leave?
I know it is. Charlie, thanks for trying to get Ella up. You can tell her I recorded this. Okay. Yeah, Alondra, I'm with you. Yeah, it does get all piled up. Are you getting a lot from your other teachers as well?
oh, we got a lot from Miss Brown.
Oh my God, Miss Brown assigned an essay.
She just threw work on. Oh my
For the whole essay.
Oh my God, can you
whole
stop?
essay.
Stop it, you rat!
I'm in science.
Oh, it comes in waves. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, your essay's due today. What was your essay on?
Happiness.
Happiness, and I'm sad, so I don't know how I'm gonna do that.
Oh,
No.
Oh. Sanaya, why are you sad, sweetheart?
Because I'm tired.
You're tired of doing all the work?
I want to go to bed.
Work?
But like, what's the point of
Oh.
Quentin, what's wrong?
Shut up.
Hey, Sanaya,
Yeah.
sweetheart, we just got to try and think positive, okay? And try and get through this all together. Right, and pray. I hope nobody gets sick. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Whatever.
Hey, Eduardo, how are you, sweetheart?
Good.
Good. Hey, Kevin, I've seen you on there too. How you doing? Okay, good.
So, how long is the class?
It's all due today.
A lot of.
I finished.
Okay.
I'm almost done. I have to finish the essay. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. You go to the supermarket, a lot of it's gone.
No, I went to the grocery store and we were getting soap and it was all gone. Well, on the other side of the aisle, all the toothpaste was there.
Cinema.
Wow. But soap is gone too?
So awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. That's interesting. Okay, guys, does anybody have anything else they want to talk about?
Yes, life.
Life? What do you want to talk about, life? Talk to me, Quentin.
I have asthma.
You have asthma, I'm sorry. Has it been acting up?
I can't. Why?
Brian, I haven't seen you. Hey, Brian.
Who says so?
Okay, guys. Well, it was nice seeing everybody.
Nice seeing you too.
Thank you.
Stop.
So
Get out. You have me
All right,
later.
guys.
Get.
All right, I'll hold another one probably on Monday. Okay? So keep looking back and we'll get together again on Monday with a new lesson, okay?
Okay.
Okay. See y'all later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.